Welcome to another exciting episode of Doug's Electronic Repair Day.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here with you on this cloudy, drizzly Tuesday. Woke up this morning a little bit before 5 by some thunderstorms going through the area. So, of course, that just put me right back to sleep. Anyway, I thought I would give you a overview of the next project I'm working on, which I think I alluded to the last video, and it's just basically a boombox from I said the 80s in the video, but actually it was 93, I believe, but around the same era. So I do have it apart. I sit in there in the living room and had to use this screwdriver. It was the only one that was long enough to get into the back of it. Now the screws were Phillips screws, but I've used this several times. It's a flat-bladed screwdriver, but if you get it in there just right, and you can go ahead and take the Phillips screws out with it, and that's what I did. Worked fine for that. These screws that were in it, very long. Like I said, they are Phillips head. There's 5 of those in there that held the case together, and there was 2 smaller screws that held the CD player in, and the rest of it is just snap fits and type of you know, make the plastic case go over a bump, you know what I mean. That's a snap fit, but that's all it is that type of construction. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off of this camera, and we'll go to the close-up camera, and we'll take a closer look at exactly what I am working on, working with, or whatever, and you'll see the mess that I'm gonna have to deal with. And it's not impossible. Obviously it's not impossible, but it's not one of these easy jobs either. So anyway, let me get on with that before I keep yakking. So stay tuned. Alright, back once again. I want to give you this far away close-up view of what I'm talking about. That's the boombox, the main part of the boombox. Of course, that's minus the speakers. The cabinet back is in the other room, along with the CD player. That's just the cassette player, radio. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. You can see this side. That's the main circuit board there, and these are the cassette players. Like I said, it's just the audio chip itself is over on that big heat sink over there. And the way it's done, as you can see, there are 4 pads right here that the speakers connect to. There's those push button things on the back of the cabinet where these make contact with. So that's that. This is the kind of a unique dial string setup here on this. That's the tuning capacitor wheel there. And as you can see down here, there's a gear, and this dial string actually just sort of moves apart across the thing. I don't think that was actually working. I don't know if it was not hooked up originally or what, but I have never ever been able to see a dial string in that, or a dial pointer in that window, so I'm not really sure exactly how that works. May investigate that a little closer while I got it all apart, but anyway, here all the connectors are. These go to the CD player, I think, mostly. There are some on this side too as well. You can see them. But anyway, oh, here's some more down here. I I've got this. Let me get this out of the way, and I'll get it. Come back. All right, like I said, here's some more connectors here. Not all of them go to the same place, I don't think. I'm not really sure, but most of them go to the CD player, I think. But anyway, this is, like I said, is the main circuit board. And if you follow these speaker outlets back here, they come over to this chipset. I believe that's the chipset right there. If I'm showing it, there it is. But that's the main audio chip, the output of it. So that's the one I need to test and find out if I'm getting output of both sides or not. I don't think I am, but we will test that and see. And if it happens to work on both sides, that would be a plus. I mean, I don't have to change that chip out. So maybe look at the other side and I'll show you the chip itself. All right, there you can see the audio chip right there itself, and the heatsink that it's on. So if the problem is going to be anywhere, that will be where the problem is. So it shouldn't be a difficult thing to unsolder and resolder, and those are not that expensive. I have a bunch of them. I don't know if I have the right one or not, but I do have a bunch of those from way back in the day. So we will look at that and see how that works out. So anywho, let me sort of turn this over a little bit and I'll show you the front of it. There you go. Get back a little bit so you can see the whole thing. There's, like I said, the cassette decks and everything's the main part of it. And like I said, it's just one of these projects that I'm just not really looking forward to because of the complexities of it, all these little parts and everything that go into it. And so that is where that stands at. And like I say, it's just a matter of getting it all back together. I'm sure there are slots that those things fit into. This board has to fit into something to keep it aligned correctly. There's a bar that goes up there, comes under here, if you see that right there. I don't know exactly what that does, and that's just a matter of figuring all this stuff out and getting it back together correctly. Like I said, the tape mechanisms, I'm not going to mess with them unless I absolutely have to, because there's nothing wrong with them. They work fine. And so mainly going to get on to getting this heat, or the as I said, check these outputs on these and see if I get outputs of both sides of the stereo, and I'll be using a signal tracer for that. And I've got to try to get a way of getting the back in here, back of the cabinet. It has the power transformer in it, and I've got to figure out which one of these go over to connect to that. There's at least one that goes over to connect to the power, so got to figure that out. I'm just hoping these are different enough, these connectors, so it won't be a confusing thing when I go back to connect them back in. Like I said, it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm getting older. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to do a little close-up work with this now, and we'll take a look at some of this stuff. I'm still using the Playful right now, so let me get off this and we'll get over to the close-up. Alright, there's the close-up of the soldering of the audio output chip. I don't know how many pins, I didn't count them, but there's a bunch of them there. So let me take a look at the other side and we'll show you what it looks like close up. Alright, there you can see it's pretty close up there. Just basically a heatsink with a chip on it. And like I said, that is the main audio output. They started doing this in the 80s. Maybe even the 70s, I don't know. But using the chips for output. And as I kind of explained to you guys a little bit,
these are direct coupled speakers. There is no audio output transformer between the output of the chip itself and the speakers. They are directly connected. And as such, unless both of those speakers are connected as they are supposed to be, that can damage that chip. It will burn it out eventually. That heatsink goes a long way into keeping it cool, but it will eventually burn it out, which is what I think happened to this. Now, like I said, it's just, you know, what it is what it is, I guess. But also, I want to take a look at the these two RCA jacks here. Those are the ones that go from, takes the output of the CD player and route them to an external amplifier. I think you saw that demonstrated in that video I linked to. Not really sure why it does it that way. I don't think that's a good way of doing it. I think if it were me, I think those would be an auxiliary input for the boombox. I think that would be a better deal. I may, it depends on how hard it is, but I may try to change those from their present configuration to an auxiliary input, because I think it would be more useful. I just can't see the use of, you know, you saw me demonstrate that. Okay, I put an amplifier and speakers, you know, a separate external amplifier and speakers in, and use the output of the CD player. But, you know, if you've got this boombox with this incredible sound, why in the world would you want an auxiliary speakers and amplifier? That, to me, that doesn't make sense. But as Jack pointed out, possibly for, you know, a store or a church or something like that, that wanted to use the output of the CD player with their own sound system, that would work. But you know, if you I'm sorry, but if you have money to buy a sound system for a church or store, whatever you want to call it, could you not afford to buy a little CD player to hook up to it? I'm sorry, that just doesn't make sense. Why in the world would you take this expensive boombox and use the output of that when you, I don't know. I just don't think there was a lot of thought put into that. I think that, you know, that's just my opinion. But like I said, you know, everybody has their own opinion about everything. That's the way it works. But that's a pretty good close-up look of this this monstrosity that is my boombox. Didn't take a look too much over here. Take a look at this if you want. If I can get this up off the bench a little bit. There we go. You can see that. But look as hard as you want, you won't find the audio output transformer on this thing anywhere, and that's where the problem lies on the, you know what I was saying. I'm not really sure what this is. I noticed that when I was taking it apart. It's kind of strange looking. Looks like a heatsink. I'm not sure what for. But anyway, caps, you know, they're in there. That's the main filter cap, I would say. I'm guessing, but I think that's the regulator for the power supply. I'm not really sure, but kind of sure. Anywho, you guys, and I'm making this really long for no reason at all, I think, other than flapping about it. But like I said, this is the situation that I have. And I think once I determine if the chip's going to have to be replaced or not, and I can order that, and I'll probably set this aside again until it comes in. But I was also thinking about another thing I wanted to do. Made me think of it when I was watching Sky Carl video this morning, and I want to take my scope and hook it up to that Juliet and try to see if I can see when the distortion comes in. It's just something to do, to play with the scope mainly, but I may try to do that, and if you know, if this turns out to be one of these things, going to have to be waiting on parts. I didn't bring the rest of it in here for the simple reason that I don't want to clutter up my area again. And I'm going to try to find a place to put this where it can sit up on top of the, up there on the top of the shelf there, so get it out of the way. And like I said, the main thing, the first thing I want to do is determine whether that chip is bad or not. And I'm pretty sure it is, but you never can tell, so. I'm back one more time. I just wanted to point out the fact that I do have this board back in the way it is supposed to be. As it is, it just still does not work correctly with the dial string. That's going to have to be taken apart and examined to find out why that doesn't work as it should. Probably not a very good setup on that. A couple of things I did have to do. This, let me show you over here. You can see that white wire going back in there along with the red wire. It was on the wrong side. I had to work on that to get it back where it goes. And what I'd like to do is get this back in and get the knobs back on it and have those. Those will help hold it in, so where I can work on this a little bit more. And I think when I put the back on, I think that board can be just exactly where it's at. I think the back will go on from the back and not have to be taken apart again, I'm hoping. So I just wanted to show you that I did. There are a couple of locking tabs here. There's one right there. I think you can see that. There's a hole there where it locks into. And there's one over on this side. It's difficult to see, but it's underneath that wheel. So those are locked in, and they will hold the board by itself. I don't have to have this. Let me do this real quick here. I have to have that in there, just as you can see it. The board will hold up itself, you see, and so it's not a weight or anything like that on it. It's just a matter of fact I had that in there to keep it from falling over against it, because I don't want that to happen. I guess it could do. Probably wouldn't hurt it to do that, you know. So anyway, I just want to bring you back to show you that I did get it at least that much back together, and that's a big step for me anyway. So all the front panel controls work now. All the switches are lined up. Everything in the front is lined up as it should be. The volume pot is in there, you can see that. And like I said, the cassette deck didn't change any, so that's all good. And I'm going to try, like I say, this without the CD player when I do this. So let me get off here. Alright, I think that's about it for now. So let me get back to the other camera real quick. Alright, as you've seen, the project that is coming up here, it is a monster, and I don't use that term in I used to work on big console TVs. It's not a big deal about the size of the unit I'm working on. The monster part of it is all those little connections and how it goes back together. I mean, Kylie and I was the one that took it apart in the living room. I was basically pulling one way and she was pulling the other to try to get this thing apart. And like I said, we worked together as far as putting the screwdriver in the right place and prying up a little bit to where something would pop out. And so that usually is not a problem getting back together. It snaps back together. But I want to be sure everything's in place first. I don't want to snap it back together and have to unsnap it again. Those things are not really meant to come apart and go back together several times. That's supposed to be rarely done, and to keep it working correctly. But I really would like to get this back together and working again. It is one of my, it's kind of a sentimental thing. I bought this when the kids were kind of little, and they simply loved it. I mean, they were at the age where they were beginning to discover music and listen to music and things like that. And what it ended up doing was me buying each one of them a smaller boombox. So, like I said, it was
it's kind of sentimental to me, you know, keep it like it good like it was. So anywho, that's I have a mail call to do. Got a sticker in the mail yesterday. I need to address that, and I'm going to do that by itself, I think. Maybe not, I don't know, we'll see. If I come up with something else to do a video about, I'll just include it with it, but this one's getting too long to do it with, I think. So we will do that later. And I have to pick up the girls today. I think it's a drop-off day. It's Tuesday. Tuesdays and Thursdays usually are drop-off days, unless something special is going on, and I haven't heard that yet. So, as far as I know, that it will be a drop-off day. Wednesday will be a dinner night. They come for dinner and stay for dinner. So, and of course the weekends are the weekends, so you know how that works. And anyway, so I think I'm going to get off here. And when I started making this video, it was morning. It's now afternoon. Let me double check, but I think it's after 12. Well, I know it's after 12. 12:18. So, oh, I know what I wanted to say. The video that I did yesterday, I ended up posting that 3 times. Not posting it, but uploading it, I should say. I never did post it until the final one. But the first time I uploaded it, I discovered that I had not put in the details of the, you know, the date, the description of the video, things like that I usually put in. And I've done that one other time that I didn't catch it, and it went ahead and went through. You guys were kind enough not to say anything about it. I appreciate that. But that was a flub on my part, and I like to put the date in. I like to tell what the video is about and put a little subtitle at the bottom about, you know, something else. So what I tried to do the first time is I took the video as a whole and put it back into Sony Movie Studio. Now that makes some weird distortions in the video, and I haven't figured out why that works. But now I can put that same video into Windows Movie Maker. It works fine. And that's what I did. I put it in Windows Movie Maker, and I just basically put a black screen with the title of the video and the date and things like that. Of course, that knocked out the music, and I didn't really care for that. So I also discovered some other problems in the video itself, that I had included the same clip twice, and I generally don't like doing that. I mean, you know, everybody knows mistakes happen, but I just don't like doing it. So anyway, I ended up taking that version down also, and I went ahead and re-edited the entire video and rendered it. And what you saw was the third attempt. I think it came out okay. But like I said, the time involved, and that's why it was pretty late last night. It was around midnight, I think, before I went to bed. And I usually don't stay up that late, but I wanted to get that uploaded and get it, you know, whatever. So, anywho, that's going to explain that, I think. And I've rambled on a long, too long time. So I'm gonna get off here, and you guys have a pleasant day. Hope it's not raining where you're at, and it's a beautiful day. And so you guys do that. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it, and we will see you.